Hello, welcome Tender Hearts. My name's Gina and it's my pleasure to be here with you today. So today I'm going to be sharing a bit about embodiment. And today we're going to cover what is embodiment, why is it important, how do we do it, and we're going to be quite practically based today. We're going to have 3 practical exercises that you can do to help you to come more into this process of embodiment. But before we start, I wanted to share a little bit more about myself. So I'm currently studying to be a sex, love and relationships coach. I'm a yoga teacher and I have a lot of experience in working with the feminine in terms of embodiment, sensuality, and really coming back home into our feminine selves and empowering women. I had a spiritual awakening that began about 4.5 years ago. And what happened for me was that I had a long-term relationship end, and when it ended I went through really a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, and it really showed to me various ways in which I wasn't loving myself. And so this is how I got started on this path of self-love, was initially to heal the wounding from that relationship, which also brought up a whole lot of other wounding that I had in terms of myself, loving myself, my relationship to do with things I experienced in my childhood. We all go through these things. So I started meditating, I started journaling, I went to psychotherapy, I started practicing yoga, I started spending time on my own, doing little rituals, and eventually this process led me to fulfilling a dream of traveling to South America. And I'd wanted to go for about 10 years. I finally had the courage to go. And when I was in South America, I went even deeper into the realms of meditation, yoga, spirituality, conscious dance, worked with plant medicine, and I discovered different tools that we could use in this path of self-love. And yoga and meditation was a really big part of that for me. And I had some beautiful heart opening and a lot of wonderful healing experiences. But I found that after being on this path for several years, I still really struggled in terms of wanting to create a loving relationship. I had absolutely nothing to do with men, and I was still really scared. And it was at this point that I discovered, or I heard about Tantra when I was in Mexico. And I became really inspired to learn how to heal this part of myself that all the yoga and meditation didn't really seem to be touching into. And through this process I began working with my body and with my sexual energy, and I started to have some really big breakthroughs in the way I felt about myself and the way I felt about relationships with men, romantic relationships. And I found that working with my energy in this way was one of the most powerful tools for self-love that I've ever experienced. It really rewired some things for me, and it was quite a dramatic breakthrough. So as a result, I'm really passionate about sharing these tools with other women, because I've seen how powerful it can be when we tap into our body and when we create this intention to love ourselves and to love our sexuality as well. So today we're going to focus more on the embodiment and the sensual aspect of things. We can go a lot deeper into sexuality specifically, which is really powerful, but for today I wanted to start with a taster of just what is it to be in the body. So if you're feeling a bit of like resistance coming up or a bit uncertainty about this, just know that like you're in a safe space. You've been practicing self-love for the past 2 weeks, and continue to use these tools as we go through this process of embodiment, and know that you don't have to do anything that you don't want to, and this can be a slow and gentle process about coming back into yourself. I think a lot of us are having this longing to connect with our bodies and to love ourselves in that way, and I'm hoping that some of the tools I'll share with you today can help you to bring that love into your full body, which is where we live our lives. So as I mentioned, today we're going to talk about what is embodiment, how do we do it, and we're going to go 3 different exercises that we're going to do. So what is embodiment? What am I actually talking about here? When I talk about embodiment, I'm talking broadly about any practice or anything that brings you into your body, feeling into your body from the inside out. A lot of times in our society, we've been conditioned a lot to think with our mind. And sometimes it can feel like we're this disembodied head that's running around trying to do a million different things. And we forget that we have this whole body here. And the body is really where we live on a day-to-day basis. So when we learn to live more in our body, it's this feeling of coming home. It's this feeling of being of safety and belonging within our own body that's really very crucial. And so if at this moment you're thinking, oh, like I really don't feel connected to my body, that's okay. Like that is really common, and you can change it. You can learn to become more in your body. And it's a really beautiful practice. In a lot of spiritual traditions, we're often working on transcending the body. We're learning that we're more than just our body. We have a spirit, we have a soul, we are transcending, we are becoming free of the body and its limitations. And that is really beautiful, and it can really bring a lot of freedom. And I've practiced this as well. Understanding we're more than just what we see is really wonderful. And at the same time, if we're going to go through our lives in this body, it also makes sense to learn how to be free within the body. Like while we're here in this body, how do we feel free? How do we connect to our bodies? And this is where Tantra comes in. So you may have heard about Tantra, and maybe you haven't, but a lot of people that have heard about Tantra know about that it's related with sexual practices. And that is a small part of what Tantra is. It's something that we've focused on at the West because it is, you know, sexy. But Tantra as a broader philosophical tradition is a mystical tradition that comes from India, and it's all about celebrating the manifestation of life. So in some of the other spiritual traditions of India, where there's kind of this idea that this reality, this physical reality, this body and everything you see, it's like a dream, it's an illusion, and all that is really real is consciousness. In Tantra, there's more of this emphasis on non-duality. So yes, there is this manifestation, there's this body, there's these things I see, and they are divine. They are also sacred. They are pure manifestation of God, they would say, vibrating in physical form. And so in Tantra, we use the physical form to access spiritual states, to connect to divine, rather than pushing away from it. So Tantra sees the body as a sacred vessel. You may have heard this before, like my body is a temple, and that can be thrown around a bit. But from a deeper spiritual perspective, your body is a temple. Your body is where the spirit lives. It is constantly, it is what allows you to be here in this present incarnation. And so if we ignore the body, we're ignoring the very vessel that allows us to be here and to have spiritual experiences and to connect with other people. So the practice of embodiment is about learning to honor this vessel that we're in, learning to feel more, learning to have more pleasure, learning to celebrate being in the body, rather than, I think in our society, you'll probably relate to this, we get a lot of negative conditioning about our body, especially as women. All these, you know, advertisements like you're too fat, you're too thin, your breasts are too big, your breasts are too small, you need to wax all your hair, you need to color your hair, you need to be beautiful. And our bodies are often objectified. So our bodies are only as good as they're able to pleasure men, especially in this heteronormative society. And what I want to talk about more today is to celebrate our body, not just because of how it looks, not because it's an object to pleasure men, but because of all the wonderful things it can do. Right now, you're here in your body, your stomach is probably still digesting food, your lungs are breathing, your heart is pumping blood all around your body, and it's really this magnificent, magical, incredible vessel, this body, and you're not even thinking about it. The fact that you can, you know, if you're able-bodied or whatever you're able to do, your body can walk around, your body can pick things up, you can chew, you can smell, and learning to love our body for these sort of things rather than just how we look gives us a lot of freedom, and a lot of more this true love that I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about a few ways tools that can help us with embodiment, because you might be thinking, okay, it sounds great, I'm going to celebrate my body, be in my body, but like I feel so like ugly, I feel like so like in my head, like how do I do this? And so just first of all, know that like that's really common. There's nothing wrong with you, and taking this first step into learning to love your body and be present in your body takes so much courage. And I know that you have all the tools to do this. I know that you can really dive into it. And if at first it may be difficult, know that with time it gets easier and the joy and the pleasure comes. If you're lucky, you might feel the joy and the pleasure straight away, and that's amazing. But wherever you're at in your journey, just know that it's perfect and you have your own unique journey. Yeah, so today I'm going to talk about two main kind of practices that will help us to feel more embodied. And the first one I'm going to talk about is using the 5 senses. So when you think about it, our senses of sight, sound, touch, hearing, these are all things that the body does. The brain is definitely interpreting that information, but these are gateways into the body. So often we're running around life and we only have the capacity to focus on so many things at once. And we're not focusing on the experience, the sensory input that our body is giving us. And so when we consciously connect to the 5 senses, we're able to come more into the body, into the present. So I'm going to talk about firstly the sense of sight, which is the one that you're using most often. But when was the last time you really looked? So look at your hand right now and just look at all the different lines and look at the way the sun or the light is shining against the hand. And just noticing how that brings you more into a present moment. We also have the sense of smell. Maybe your hands don't smell anything like right now. Anything with the sense of sound, or what we're listening to. The sense of touch, what can you feel? And so using these 5 senses, consciously connecting to each one. Did I mention taste? I didn't mention taste, sorry. And taste. So as we're connecting to these different senses, they will help us to be more present. And through some of the exercises that we're doing today, we're going to engage the 5 senses, and that you'll be able to feel how that can bring you more into your body. So with a lot of these things, I can tell you about how to do embodiment, but what you have to do is you really have to practice it. It's something that has to be done. You can't think about it mentally in your mind. You need to feel it. It's a practice. And so there's everyday opportunities to practice embodiment. We're going to get into that. But the second thing I want to talk about, so we've talked about using the 5 senses, how these are a gateway to our immediate experience, which happens in the body. And I also want to talk about what we call the 4 feminine gateways. Now, this is something I learnt in a practice called Dancing Eros, which is a women's embodiment course. And the reason they're called feminine gateways is in the tantric tradition, when you think about what is the feminine is all of manifestation, which includes your body. So when you're connecting to your body, you're connecting to the feminine. And that doesn't mean feminine in terms of men or women or gender. Everybody has the feminine, whether you consider yourself to be male, female, or non-binary. It's an energy that runs through us. So when you're using these 4 gateways, we're going to connect to the feminine, connect to our bodies. So the first gateway is movement. So this is why practices like dance or yoga or running or anything that gets you moving gets you into the body, gets you out of your head. So just now, just move your body a little bit. Maybe if there's people watching, you can be a bit more subtle with it. But just move your body and just feel how you have a body, right? And so I encourage you to anything that can help you to move more into your body is going to help with this whole practice. The second gateway is we have movement. The second gateway is breath, using our breath to come into the body and out of the mind. Anytime we're breathing through the mouth, deep breaths, filling up the chest, filling up the belly, and sighing. And even a few moments of just conscious breathing can bring you out of your head and into the body. The next feminine gateway is touch. So we're moving, we're breathing through the mouth, and we're touching ourselves. And this could be a bit edgy for some people, and just know that it's okay, but just the simple act of touching yourself, putting your hands on your body. So right now, I want you to do this with me. I want you to get your hands and just put them quite firmly on your chest or on your arms, and just feel, I have a body. there is this body here. It's almost like affirming like this existence, and just like pressing your hands. And you can do this. This is accessible to any moment. If you feel like you're caught in your mind, you're stressed, just touch your body, breathe. Feeling your sensations in the body. The final gateway that I'm going to talk about is sound. And this one can be a little bit edgy for people as well. But engaging your vocal cords and making your sound is another beautiful way of bringing you into the body. So something where like you're singing or you're expressing, or the most easy way to access this is through sighing. So right now, let's combine some of these gateways together and put your hands somewhere in your body, touch it, feel that you have a body here. We're going to take a deep breath in, and we're going to sigh. And move your body a bit as you're doing this. Breathing in and sighing. Really like, especially if you're stressed, you can really let out that sound. And just notice how that feels. Close your eyes for a moment. Are you feeling any different? Where are you feeling this in the body? When we combine these 4 gateways together of movement, breath, touch, and sound, it's a very powerful way to come into the body. So you can do this when you put on some music at home, and when you're in your room alone or you're in the shower, just consciously touching yourself, sighing, moving, and breathing. And it can look very different. It can look really like loving. Lovingly touching yourself gently. It can look like I've had a really stressful day and I'm like, So just knowing that you can do this at any moment when you're feeling like you're in your head, coming into your body, simple thing, touching yourself, breathing, sighing, moving, shaking it out. So these are the main gateways, and we're going to practice a bit with them today with some more practical exercises. But I just wanted to share these gateways so that when we go through the different exercises, you have a foundation for what I'm talking about. So we have a lot of everyday opportunities to come more into the body. And these are things that you're doing every day, and you can connect to them in any moment. So the first thing I already mentioned is simply just touching yourself. I'm here. I have a body. Okay, I'm here. Ooh, okay. Another opportunity to explore this touching yourself is things you do every day, like having a shower or a bath, when you're putting on your moisturizer. So when you're in the shower, you can be like, yeah, I'm scrubbing, I've got to like wash myself. You can be not present, you can rush it. Or it can be a practice of self-love. So I'm going to like, yes, I'm washing myself, I'm washing this body, and I love this body. And I can feel my hands on my skin as I'm doing this. I can be present with my touch. I can move. I can really like be gentle and loving and touch myself the way I would touch, a lover or like a child, or, just lovingly. You can do this. Same thing, you get out of the shower, maybe you want to put on some moisturizer, you can slap on the moisturizer. Yep, shit, I've got to get to work. You can take your time. You can really put the moisture in slowly, like give yourself that time to really love the body in the way that it deserves, rather than rushing through things. And just this few moments of slowing down, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, putting on your makeup, doing it slowly and consciously, and being aware of what you're feeling will bring you into the body. So today, our first exercise is going to be what I'm going to call a sensual shower or bath. So if you have a bath, lucky you, amazing. I don't have a bath, I really wish I did, but you can do this in the shower as well. So you're going to have a bath or a shower, and it's going to be like a little ritual. It's going to be something, not that you do to clean your body, but it's going to be a source of celebrating the body and coming into the body. So as you're having this shower or this bath, I want you to really slow down. I want you to notice what you're feeling, And I want you to connect to the 5 senses as much as possible. So if you're in that bath, bring a nice glass of wine or a chocolate or a little treat so that you can smell and taste it as well. If you're in the shower, maybe you might, I don't know if you're going to bring some food with you into the shower, so you might not be able to explore the taste, but you can explore the sound of the water dripping. You can feel the heat rising up and breathe that in. You can look at the water dripping down. You can look at your own body if that's not too edgy. And consciously connecting to the 5 senses. Every time you get caught in your head, what am I feeling? What am I smelling? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I tasting? What am I feeling? And keep going through that. And also bringing this sense of celebration. I also really want you to, if this isn't too edgy for you, get some sort of like body wash when you're washing your body, and do it in a sensual, loving way. And when I say sensual, what does that mean? Connected to the senses. It means feeling what's here. It means smelling the nice moisturizer, feeling how it touches on your body, listening to the sound, smelling it, and probably not tasting it unless you've got some delicious edible body wash or something like that. But if you have that glass of wine and in the bath, you can smell that glass of wine before you taste it. So slowing down and connecting to your 5 senses. I would love to hear you share how this transforms your experience of your sensual shower or your bath. So as you're going through this sensual shower or bath, I just want you to know that there are some things that might come up. And the most important thing here is I want you to really bring the love. As we start to reconnect with our bodies, we might start to encounter some of the negative conditioning we've received as women. You might feel shame, you might feel disconnected, you might feel in your head. And so I just really want you to be really patient with this and bring the love. Although like you might like the idea of I'm going to be this sensual goddess in my shower, and yes, if that's you, own it. I love it. And if that's not you yet, that is totally fine. Maybe where you're at right now is like just the fact of touching your body is enough, you know? Don't go too far outside your comfort zone. This is a practice of love and of celebration. Because you know what? I feel so shit right now, but I'm celebrating that I'm able to touch my body. I'm celebrating that I'm taking this time, and I'm celebrating the decision to come back, even though it's really difficult. So very important to bring the love, very important to be patient. Give your body time to adjust and to feel safe. It's really important that you're creating this safety of container for yourself when you're coming into your body, because only when your body and your whole being feels safe will you be able to feel. And maybe there's times in your life where it didn't feel safe to be a woman or to be in your body. And so there's some deconditioning that might happen here. But the more that we feel safe to feel, the more our sensuality comes back. In order to become more embodied and more sensual, it's really connected to feeling more. And this means sometimes difficult emotions. I hope that when you do this, all you have is joy and pleasure and I love my body. But it's not possible to just feel the good things. If we want to feel more and be in our body, we have to have the courage to be prepared to feel unpleasant things as well. And the more that we feel, the more that we will be able to feel pleasure, the more that we'll be able to feel joy in the body. It's something that, unfortunately, you have to do all of it, but it's also really beautiful to learn how to feel what you're feeling and honor that on the level of the body and the emotions. This is really what's going to bring you more into your true sensual nature, because in every woman there is a goddess, and not a goddess as in like we're all going to look the same way and be like beautiful in a particular way, but there is a real beauty in every woman. When she learns to feel and be in her body, we are magnificent creatures, and I really can't wait for you to begin to see that in yourself and in other women too. So the second activity that we have for today, so you've had your sensual shower, and it doesn't really matter the order that you do this activity, whatever works for you, but we're also going to do a happy dance. Woo! So this is a bit more of a joyful activity, and so for this activity I want you to put on one of your favorite tracks, and I want you to go somewhere where no one can see you, close that bedroom door, close your own eyes if you need to, and I want you to dance like no one is watching. And I want you to really feel the music and notice that you might feel like, I need to move in a certain way, I have to dance and look good. And just notice, maybe you feel a bit awkward, maybe you're a dancer and you feel great, maybe you're not. And this is not about looking a certain way. This is about allowing your body to express as it is. And this is really powerful. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you to touch yourself if you can, if that feels like it's not too edgy. I want you to breathe. Yeah, so remember these gateways. We're going to move our body, we're going to breathe, and we're going to sound if we can, maybe sighing or singing, and we're going to touch ourselves, right? These 4 gateways. Listening to the music, just seeing what happens, bringing a sense of celebration where you can. This is fun, and not taking it yourself too seriously. So remember the lesson we had about playfulness and fun, bringing that into your embodiment as well. And so the final exercise that we're going to do today, and this is an optional one, but it's really beautiful, and I encourage you to try it if it feels right for you, is we're going to do a breast massage exercise. Now, breast massage is a really powerful way of learning to love our bodies. It's a practical exercise you can do as often as you want. The recording is going to take about 7 minutes to do. And energetically, our breasts are connected to our heart. Think how close your breasts are to your heart. Your breasts are associated with nurturing. And so learning to reconnect with this part of our body helps us to feel more a sense of self-love. It may be you have some negative conditioning around your breasts. Maybe you think they're too small, too big, too saggy, different sizes. And this is learning to celebrate your breasts exactly as they are. And know that this is like a radical act. This is against everything our society is teaching us. So if you have the courage to do this, I celebrate you. I celebrate you and your decision to reclaim your body, no matter how difficult that is. So I'm going to do a little demo. Don't worry, I'll keep my clothes on. But for this breast massage, you can either do it with your clothes on, or you can take your clothes off. And I recommend, if possible, to do it on the bare skin, because it's a much more sensual experience, but whatever you've got time for. So for this exercise, if you're doing it on the bare skin, you'll need to get some sort of massage oil. So prepare that before the exercise. Or you can use a nice moisturizer if you don't have any oil or coconut oil or something like this. And I'm going to guide you through it on the audio, but as part of the practice, what we're going to do is we're going to be doing different circular motions on our breasts. So we begin by just holding our breasts and really like pressing them against the body and just, again, touching ourselves like, okay, this is my body. Whew, I've got a body. And we're going to be doing circular motions where we go up on the inside and down on the outside. And noticing that I'm massaging around the outside of the breast, down the middle. I'm avoiding the nipples. And however that looks for your breasts, whatever feels natural, but generally this is the circular motion. Using as much of your hand as possible and really bringing this love. Loving this part of our body. I'm reclaiming this part of my body. It's mine. And we're going to also, as we're going in this direction, this is a good direction for releasing any stuck emotions, anything you're holding in your breast and in your heart. It's almost like as we go down the outside, we're letting them out, yeah? We're then going to go in the opposite direction, so up on the outside, down on the inside, yeah? We're going to do this for a little bit. And this direction is associated with filling up with love, filling up with pleasure energetically. We're going to fill our breasts up with more love, more pleasure. And again, as we're doing this, noticing what's coming up might be a bit difficult the first time, but with time, you will learn to feel more in your breasts. And it can be a really beautiful way of connecting with ourselves, connecting with our pleasure, really learning to love ourselves. And if you do this practice consistently, you'll feel like you're walking around with like love radiating out of your heart. Like your breasts are such a powerful location on your body, and reclaiming that is going to be hopefully really wonderful. So number one rule for today is we're going to go slow, we're going to be patient with ourselves, and we're going to hold ourselves with love. So know that this is a process that can happen. It will take time, but if you make a conscious decision to come more into your body, using these 4 gateways, moving your body, touching your body, sounding, breathing, connecting to your 5 senses, and just throughout your day, when you touch yourself, do it with love. When you touch yourself, feel that you touch yourself. Taste your food, smell your food when you're eating it. These are all practices that will help you to come more into the body, will help you to feel more. And the more that we're able to feel like everything that is going on in our lives, the more we can feel pleasure, the more we can feel joy. And yeah, so if you have any questions, I'll be here to support you in the WhatsApp group. I hope that you found that interesting, and I really am excited to hear how you go with your sensual shower, your happy dance, and if you're feeling it, the breast massage. Thank you so much. I'm really so honoured to be here with you, and enjoy.